What's up, Dreamedia family? This is Zach and Chase. We're out here today checking out the entire lineup of URC interfaces here in my own home here in Colorado. So we don't have every single remote here, but we are going to go over some of the ones that I'm personally using and how I'm using them in my own life, as well as reviewing some other models that may have similar features, but just ensuring that you guys understand every single interface and how it may be the right fit for a certain room in your home. Here at Dreamedia, we like to get in on the ground level in the design phase, whether it's new construction or retrofit, and we like to put in the infrastructure for remote systems like this, as well as complete automation to make your life easier and effortless to operate your home. All right, guys, well, let's get into this video. Welcome back, Dreamedia family. So before we get started, I'd like to pass it off to Chase. He's our regional sales manager here in Colorado, and he is helping us launch the smart home market here in the United States. This is going to be our first location where we offer white glove service from start to finish. Everything from designing your home out in detail, showing where every single wire goes so you can have touchscreens like this in your wall in strategic locations, such as I have over here in my stairwell, in addition to wiring things like automated shades, lighting control, every aspect of your home. So we're going above and beyond just home theaters and distributed audio and outdoor entertainment. Talk a little bit about that, Chase.
Yeah, so we want to get on the ground level, not only make sure that you end up with a bunch of cool products that run your home and automate it like Zach has here, but we want to make sure 10 years down the line, you're not looking at a complete renovation to get your AV gear up to spec. So not only do we want to build cool smart homes, but we want to future-proof your investment in the initial one. Whether that's running wires that may not be needed during the initial construction, but would be a great idea for the long-term use of the house, and being able to kind of shift some rooms. Like this room back here, when we got in, was a local zone. So the cable box, the Apple TV, everything was controlled with a bunch of remotes right here in the room. But due to the pre-wiring done, we were able to decentralize this. So now all of the smart tech is coming from the rack room, and all we have up here is the TV. And I think we have an even better integration now.
Yeah.
So with faster response, we've got.
But if that wiring
devices
wasn't in place, that wouldn't have been possible.
No.
Because like you can't put a Marantz Cinema 30, which lives in my rack downstairs, in a 42 unit rack, which houses the entire home's infrastructure. You can't slip that up behind the TV.
No.
So as many times as I hear people saying, I'm just going to do Sonos, that's okay. And I did have a Sonos Arc in this room.
Yeah.
But it was temporary. And what Chase is trying to say is long term, guys, we're here looking out for your best interest, pointing out things that you may not be aware of right now. It's protecting your investment long term, because running one wire 10 years from now can cost you $5,000, or it could cost $3 today. Yeah. Literally, it's that significant.
I mean, if we didn't have wires here, you're talking about work to get through the tongue and groove ceiling.
You just wouldn't even want to do it.
Oh my goodness.
Just a nightmare.
Half a year long project. So whereas we were able to flip this room in a couple days. So,
yeah. Putting in a full 544 Dolby Atmos system, which I'm going to do a completely separate video on that one. If it's already out, we'll drop the link up here for you guys.
Fun stuff. But yeah, so let's dive into our URC. We're going to start with our handheld remotes. So here today we have on display their previous, and I guess still kind of current, flagship model and bestseller, the 1480, and the brand new beta 1120. But this does start at our TRC 820, which is our single room remote solution. It doesn't come with a touchscreen, doesn't come with integrated voice control, but gives you a very simple and robust way of controlling maybe just a dedicated theater. Maybe you don't have a full smart home, that would be the option. Then we jump up into the TRC 1080, which we also don't have on display here, which is essentially just a smart bigger brother to the 820.
And we'll put this on the screen for you guys
Yeah.
too, so you can see the models that he's talking about. The reason we wanted to do a complete lineup is for everybody who's building a new home so that they can be educated just on the variety. As an example, this guy over here is Chase's favorite remote.
Yes, sir.
This guy over here is my favorite remote, and we'll dive into the reasons as to why. But it's also room-based. Like, this remote is my absolute favorite for the primary bedroom, whereas this is my favorite for the formal kitchen, dining, outdoor entertainment space.
So again, your 820 is your single room solution. It can only live in whatever room it's programmed in. And, you know, that's a good solution again for maybe just a theater, and that's the only part of your home controlled by URC. Then we have the 1080, which is a great choice for someone that isn't interested in touchscreens, isn't interested in voice control, but still wants a tactile remote that can control every room in the house. Then we jump into URC's bestseller, as I said earlier, the 1480, which is a super robust remote that comes with all the hard tactile buttons you've been used to forever, including a full number keypad. So this model not only boasts your typical tactile buttons and is capable of controlling every room in your house, but also integrates this really nice touchscreen and room paging option. So I can go ahead here, check on the front door entrance on my Ring that's integrated, go ahead and run my scene control for the whole home. Options are really endless, and again, very responsive touchscreen. I mean, you can see here how just how quick it's taking my inputs here. And this also comes with full voice integration, which is great as well. So it's not tied down to just URC, right? It is meant as an integrator with your other smart devices that take voice commands. So Zach in his master bedroom, for example, when he's watching his Apple TV, that controls Siri. When he's watching his cable, this is controlling Xfinity Voice. When he's not in an AV scene, it's controlling his Amazon Alexa.
Exactly.
Which could also be run through Google Home Voice. And yeah.
And that's the key with URC, guys. I've talked about in other videos, is the third-party integration is second to none. I mean, they have drivers for everybody. And I put it through the paces in this test. Unfortunately, Chase had to program it all. But he did it successfully. And I'll have to say, the whole house now is working for me. I walk in, it's geofencing, detects my IP address from my phone. As we were pulling in, I see the shades from the outside already starting to lift. My lighting's coming on. My Sonos is coming to my favorite playlist. It's a magical feeling. I've really fallen in love with smart home, and that's why now I want to offer this to our clients. You know, I've gotten so excited about it. I want to share this passion with the rest of the world. So we're starting right here in Colorado.
Yeah, these are fun toys. And again, this has been in the past the flagship remote model that gives you everything that your phone app would, with those nice tactile buttons you're used to. And then we have the new remote that's going to be coming for the 1480.
This one's not even out yet.
Yeah, this is the 1120. And it boasts a lot of the same features as this 1480, but just look at the form factor difference here. So we've still got our touchscreen, which is improved. It is so responsive on this new 1120. That same voice integration. And the big difference, I'd say, is we're missing the number keypad on this remote. But I'm telling you, Zach is not using this in his master bedroom.
I have not used it one time, guys. No, not in any room.
Yeah.
Now that I have the voice control, I haven't used it in one room.
There's no reason. Instead of being like, oh man, 256 is my favorite channel.
Who cares?
Yeah, you just hit this mic button and call out your program by name. CBS, Nickelodeon, you name it. It goes right to it. So no reason even for the number pad.
Makes perfect sense.
On these fully integrated systems. So if you're going all the way in, I mean, this remote is elegant.
Yeah, maybe we can throw up some really close visuals for you guys from our unboxing video, but we're very, very impressed, and I'm glad they elevated the design of I mean, this was a very clean looking remote.
Still runs great.
I think they just made it feel a little more modern by taking away some of the buttons, and then also the cleaner lines down the edge and that gold ring. I mean, guys, if you can't tell, I got the gold wedding band on. I got the gold fixtures up here. It just adds a little bit of class
It blends
to
in
the home. Yeah,
It
looks
takes
really
up
good.
a lot less room on a table or
I like
a
that
side
as well.
sofa.
Here, let's get a shot of that, guys.
Yeah.
See the base station, how much
So
of a
again,
difference.
a lot of the capabilities are the same, but this remote is maybe a third of the weight, maybe even lighter than the 1480 by like that. And as you can see, again, we're almost at a third of the size of the charging dock here. It just fits into a room a little more seamlessly, gives you a more modern look. I love the gold accents everywhere. And one thing is this remote's got sort of a touchscreen power button to turn your room off, whereas this guy's got a hard tactile button. You feel that press. I really enjoy that.
I really
for
like
the power button.
hard buttons as well.
You know, that way you're not guessing, is the room off? I feel that button click in, I hear the click, I let it go, it bounces back, I know the room is off.
And
just a little more
I'll tell you
security
what,
in
the
button.
hard buttons have meant more and more to me. I don't know if it's because I'm getting old.
Yeah.
Or the fact that I've watched technology develop, and when all the touchscreens first came out, like we were like, yeah, you know, this is super cool. Look at how big the screen is. And then like as you use it, you realize it's not that great to just like scroll through my Apple TV apps with a touchscreen, because then you like hit it slightly wrong and it doesn't respond because you're not directly on the right part of the touchscreen. Whereas this, you can literally have it under the covers in your bed and be toggling through your channels.
These tactile buttons make it super easy for your own feedback.
Exactly.
You know, you can hit a button on a touchscreen. You don't really get that feedback on your end. Yeah, the technology has its feedback, but this just gives you the option where, like Zach's saying, if my remote's in my hand, I don't want to stare at my touchscreen. I know where the volume button is. It feels natural. I know where the exit button is to select. You can't miss the power button. It's the only thing up at the top. It's just very easy to use, and I'm not having to think about what I want the remote to do, because it fits into what we know a remote should be.
And URC's done a lot of R&D on the placement of these buttons, guys. On the back, you can see all of these little
Finger grooves.
molds.
Yeah.
That's not like random. It's meant to where you're holding it. Whoop, volume's just right there.
Yeah.
My buttons are right there. Menu, all the important aspects, some of the stuff that you're not going to use so frequently may be a slight reach, but even look at the hand placement.
Yeah.
It aligns with that reach up to the top.
Yeah. And I like that multi-tier use, right? So if I'm just picking up the remote and trying to control volume or anything,
Your hand just falls right
it
into
just
place.
places your thumb right where it needs to be for the general controls. And then when you want to control the touchscreen, it kind of sets you up right there so your thumb's in the right spot to interact with this remote. A lot of thought went into that, and
I didn't really,
works well.
I just didn't appreciate it as much as I do now that we've had so many different other control companies that have just flat backs on them and big touchscreens. Now I'm like, whoa.
You have no sense of direction.
Yeah.
Whereas it just feels right. It feels right, it acts right, you're not thinking about it. And we love these touchscreens, but don't get me wrong, if you're trying to
There's a time and a place.
channel browse,
There's a time and a place.
exactly.
That's what I'll say. Because like, now we might as well go ahead and move into these.
Yes.
So we'll talk a little bit more about these touchscreens, but for your common living spaces, like the kitchen, you know, your formal dining, these open concept spaces, or maybe you have, like I use this for 4 rooms, formal, dining, kitchen, and outdoors. So it's a great, like I call it a floater unit. But would I want that in my bed? No way.
no.
So let's talk about all the touchscreens. Let's
Yeah.
roll through the models, Chase.
And just one more thing, you know, this feels comfortable to your guests. You know,
Yep.
they don't have to live with your phone app, know how to navigate it.
That's important.
Yeah, you can just pick it up. This is set to the formal if I'm in the formal, and I just hit watch and go. There's no thinking involved. It just makes it easier for
And you
easier
can
for people
lock
that
it
come
down
in.
to
Yeah,
just one room.
You can.
But you can also control the entire home with one remote.
It's up to you.
It's up to you.
This remote is set up to control the entire house from Zach's master, and this one from their guest suite or in-law suite really just controls that room, which is all they need. But it gives them that nice future-looking, you know,
Yeah.
design. I really enjoy this remote. So now jumping into our touchscreens, this is the TDC 5100, and here I have the 9100. These are both great floating models. This is my favorite, the 5100, and the 9100 is Zach's. So let's dive into it. They both have super robust and very interactive touchscreens, very responsive to the end user. You know, I'm not having to make sure my fingers in any specific spot to integrate with it and interact with it. I've got all my buttons here. I can mute my music.
I mean, look at all the
volume up and
information
down.
too it pulls in dynamically, guys.
Yeah, time, what your battery charge is at. We got the weather over here, what it looks like. Is it sunny, cloudy, rainy currently? And what else is really cool is this picture in the background isn't just there for looks. That is actually what the room looks like. So again, for your guests, if they pick this up, all I have to do is look up. Is that what the room is, or is it not? You know, we move in. We'll just go ahead and move into the kitchen real quick. Can't mistake that. That's what the kitchen is. So these little things kind of bring the whole home together. Now these touchscreens do have essentially the same functionality as far as use with the home. The 5100 obviously is a 5-inch touchscreen where we've got a big old 9-inch touchscreen here that looks big and beautiful. I also love how this stand just keeps it up. You're not having to worry about it kicking out a stand, and it goes right onto the charging dock this way, or plugs right into the wall directly from the unit. You don't even have to use a charging dock if you don't want to.
The cradle's nice though.
Yeah, the
Let me
cradles
grab
are
that.
very nice.
So I keep the cradle over here, guys, just by the back door. Again, I use it for the patio. We use it when we're cooking. We use it for everything, but I'll just unplug it so that we can show you in this video how easy it is to charge. We've had it off all morning, and what are we at battery-wise?
More than 50% still. Just
Yeah,
a little
more than
over.
50%. I mean, it's been off for hours.
All right, so it sucks you right in. It's got this nice molded fit for the touchscreen. So it's very, you know, there's even dig outs for the little rubber feet, so you know that it's landing right where it needs to every time. And then if this was plugged in, you'd go ahead and get a power as well as a status light of the device. So just a little more visual feedback that you have it docked right.
And this one fits just as snug and nice, guys. So
Yeah,
you,
look
you
at
got
that.
a great little cradle, and I pretty much just make it the home base up in the movie room every day.
And again, the dig outs for the rubber fittings, that way you know it kind of pulls itself into line. That's one thing that really impresses me with URC is a lot of other control platforms have really cool remote options, and I keep getting complaints that the remotes are dead because when you drop it into the cradle, it just doesn't line up right. URC's, you know, just sucks it right in, and I've never placed one of these devices on a cradle and had it not charge. It's the little things that
It really
end
is
up going a long way. So again, with this touchscreen that's got our tactile, you know, it is a touchscreen.
It's a combo.
Yeah, we've got tactile buttons. It's got these nice finger grips on the back here, and I love this because it feels like a
Wii.
OG portable gaming system.
Yeah, like
right?
a Nintendo.
Yeah, and again, they've thought about this. Your hand just falls right where it needs to. I grab this. I've got all the luxury of the touchscreen, but I've also got a hard volume button. Very tactile response. You can have it on volume.
Let me show it in your hands for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, from the backside. Just see how they've really thought through the mold of all of these remotes. That's what I love, is just they all fit very, very nicely in your hand.
Yeah, it's natural when you pick it up too. It just puts your hand in the right spot.
Right where it needs to be.
Yeah, and I love this. You know, maybe you're a touchscreen person, but you don't want to give up that tactile button feel, then this is the touchscreen for you. I really enjoy it. Again, you get all the benefits of the touchscreen, and then you kind of get the benefits of these guys, of the tactile buttons, because you can sit here and navigate without having to look down at your touchscreen. You know exactly where you are. It's just, they come in smaller touchscreen models. It really is personal preference at the end of the day.
Yeah. I chose this one for the movie room for a couple reasons. It was the tactile feel. I could have just done one of these, but I like the bigger screen because a lot of the time people come to the door, the front door, for packages or guests
when you're up there, yeah.
When we're up there. And like I had stated in another video, my phone never stops ringing, so in the evening hours with my family time, I throw that phone in a corner and try to ignore it. So I like having the control of the home without having to have my phone on me. And whenever people pop right up on the Ring camera. I can easily see it here while still navigating our menus.
Yeah, so that's our breakdown of the TDC 5100. And then we've got sort of in the same wheelhouse. We've got this bigger floating 9100 with the big, beautiful, and I think the screen looks a little better on this model than the 5100, but you don't have those tactile buttons, but you get even bigger, there's less room to miss on the volume button here.
But you don't have to worry about the volume whenever it's a physical button over here. So it is nice to have the larger screen. And I opted for the larger screen on the tablet version as well as the in-wall permanently mounted PoE version. What's that model called?
That's the 9600.
9600, yeah. I have that right over here as well, guys, and I use it daily.
It's essentially the same model, but it fits in your wall, super close to the wall, doesn't stand out, no eyesore.
Let me grab the remote. Since we're covering remotes, let me just take you guys over there. So if you look over here, I have the exact same thing. And what's cool is, again, it just, every single room displays, and you can control every single room, or you can lock it up into restricted access for certain profiles, but it's dynamic. So like if I'm listening to something in the formal and I change the station, say over to a different playlist on Sonos, I go from Apple TV to Sonos, I don't have to worry about it updating. Let's just do it. As an example, I go to Sonos and I'll just select Sonos 2. You can see something is playing in there right now. Now if I go to formal and I go to just playing on the handheld, check it out, guys. It'll display the exact same song that's playing on the in-wall as the tablet. See? It's all dynamically pulls in, so you don't really have to worry like, oh, what did I press in that room and did it do it in this room? Like, the two-way communication is a must-have and really changes the game.
Yeah.
So me and Chase were just talking about, what is like the major advantage to the touchscreen versus having the tactile? And I would say I really wanted this model for the kitchen because it's a little bit elevated from an aesthetic standpoint. It looks high-end. Whenever people come into my home, they're like, oh, what's that? And I'm like, oh, that's how you control the house. And they're like, oh, no way. And they'll start playing with it. Kind of like if you had an iPad on the counter, except for this is specifically tailored to your exact home and every single room in it.
Yeah, and the 5100 fits really well into his movie theater, game room area. It just blends in there really well. Something I like about this guy being here in the great room too is the intercom functionality. When someone comes to the Ring doorbell, or when Zach's
room-to-room communication.
When it's dinner time and Zach's locked up in his office, she runs dinner time, she'll pop up on his screen. She can nag at him from anywhere in the house.
Yep.
It's really cool. Or you can check in.
Don't worry, guys. You can disable that functionality.
Yes, up to preference. So.
Yeah, but it is really, really cool. Such as the intercom feature you were talking about for dinner time.
Yeah, which she can run from her phone or from this touchpad, and it'll display in every room in the house. So if Zach's in the movie room, she doesn't want to maybe hit the staircases and travel across the whole house, she could just page him right here without doing anything fancy. It's out, it's in the open, she's not pulling out her phone, going through 3 or 4 steps to get to it. She just slides, like let's say she's in the kitchen.
It's always ready. That's what I like, is it just sits on the kitchen counter or it's floating around in here somewhere and it's always ready. Pulling out the phone, waiting for the app to load, making sure you're in the right room and going to it. This just stays pretty much on the formal dining kitchen zone and is ready to rock and roll. I think one thing to hit on is that intercom feature. We have so many people that call with these older homes built in the 90s and they're looking for an intercom, right? An intercom replacement because it's gone bad. Well, with these guys, you could literally put these touchscreens in every single room where those intercoms are, because many times they were wired with like a Cat 5 cable.
Yeah.
So you just get rid of that old school intercom, drop in one of these in place. It'll cover that entire hole, and now you have
the whole home.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So now you replace that old school just audio intercom with audio and video through an intuitive touchscreen interface. So the kids, you know, you can see them in their room. It can act as like a baby monitor, or two-way communication for dinner time, or it's time for you to do your homework or whatever. The applications are really endless here, guys, but I hope we're doing a good job of explaining this, because really with control systems, it does come down to creating, coding, and utilizing these products to fit your exact lifestyle.
Every space is different, every client's
Every
needs
home,
and wants are different. So I guess the last thing I'll point to, since we've broken down these models pretty well, is the viewing angle. Yeah, look at the steepness of the viewing angle. With this big screen, I can be here at the kind of dining bar area, and with that touchpad across the room, I can still see who's at the front door without having to go pick up the unit. Whereas if you were to spec a 5100 into this space and somebody calls, I've got to walk over to this touchpad to get an actual view of kind of what's going on.
Well, and that's intentional, because in many cases, you know, this is just laying on the couch in the crack of the couch. At least here at my home. And this one just is perfectly sitting up on a counter away from the kids all the time.
And you don't need to pick it up to interact with that, right? So when it's dinner time and the dinner bell is rung, it rings them, it pages voice. And if you're sitting there cooking in the kitchen, you don't actually have to pick this up and look at it if your hands are messy. You can just bam, run that dinner bell command and just wait for Zach or whoever's upstairs or in another area to pick up without having to, you know, pull out your phone, answer it like that. You know, it's just right there, and just kind of simplifies the user interface in this area.
I think one other thing we could probably hit on is the that has voice control as well.
So I guess the last big thing I kind of skipped over, I shouldn't have, is that these touchscreens do have full voice integration, like the more flagship remotes in the URC line.
Yeah, these ones have physical buttons, but these both do have a camera. See, there's a camera right here, so they can see you. Whenever we were talking about the microphone, audio video aspect of like replacing intercoms, there is a video so they can see you, but there's also a microphone on each individual one of these.
Yeah. Which makes it really nice. You know, if somebody picks up your gate, you can see them. They can't see you maybe on one of these remotes, but here they're looking at me, I'm looking at them. We're now having a conversation. It's not like a phone call. On the 5100, you do have a physical mic button you depress, and then you can access all the same great things: Siri, cable voice control, Amazon Alexa, and then here on this model, it also has the voice as an option. It's just not a tactile button.
Yeah, I think it's just on screen, if I recall.
So we'll just go ahead and go to the formal real quick and hit now playing. So you can see here on the Apple interface, it's probably hard to see. Maybe we can walk them up to it.
There you go.
Yeah. So for the mic integration on the 9100 and some of these other no physical button keypads, it shows up right here on the driver. It's really easy to use, and go here, hit that, give out my command like I'm doing right now. Siri has no idea what to do, but I could say watch Netflix or...
Siri is listening though.
Yeah, she is.
There's Siri over there. She's making recommendations right now.
Right here. Watch Netflix.
Oh, not the Dreamedia logo.
We'll bring her back. But that just, shows you how easy that voice integration is.
It's really easy, guys. I don't do anything other than voice now.
Let's just go ahead and show what some of this cable integration is. There's so many people that, want a modern home and don't want to separate from cable. Look at that. You've got all your buttons just like your remote had here. And right here in the center, I've got my voice module. So right now the cable station booted to Fox News. I can hit this. Watch CBS.
Yep, Big Bang Theory.
Yep. Watch NBC. So there you go. And that, now I'm not digging through the guide. I'm not sitting here pressing, 256 or whatever the channel name is. I just boot the room, and you can either have it go right to your favorite channel if that's what you want, or easy navigation. Watch Nickelodeon. So it functions just like your voice control keyboard remote, but also ties in your whole home. It's simple, elegant, easy to use. I can go here, control my volume. I hit plus once or minus once, and then I get a slider. We can turn up and turn down. We can also then mute it right there, unmute it. We don't have any program for this room currently, but you can go ahead and hit shortcuts if you know you have maybe a certain channel you want or a certain macro to
and again, guys, the only reason I don't have shortcuts is the voice control just works so well. I've found no need. I mean, I don't even want my son to touch this. It's easier for me to hit the voice control button and just turn it on to Disney rather than him touch it.
You can see how responsive this is. These buttons flash. You can probably hear the TV show starting and stopping. I've paused it a few times, so now I can hit live. It'll bring me up to date. You can go ahead and navigate through your menu here. Go ahead and hit your record to your DVR, or just bring up your guide old-fashioned or your Xfinity settings right there. So it's all right here and very easy to use. And again, this display just changes on what source you're using. So we can go ahead and go back, and I get my very simple and easy to use Apple TV display here, where it looks just like a handheld Apple remote basically. Play, pause, voice control, main menu, navigation, very quick, very robust. You do get, so with these touchpads, you do get a little tiny audible feedback to make sure that your input goes if you're not looking at it. So without...
Yeah, it's not, you're not totally in the dark.
No.
But it is, if you're actually in a dark room and you can't see well, it can be tough to be going from complete darkness to this super bright screen.
Yeah. So that's our 9100. Again, here was our 5100, which is our touchpad with our tactile buttons. So kind of a hybrid between the touchpad and the handheld remotes. Then we've got our two flagship remotes here. I'm calling them both flagships because this guy's coming to replace him soon. But both have voice control, touchpad, and then there are two simpler remotes for people that maybe aren't into voice control, maybe don't want to deal with the touchscreen.
That was actually really cool. That's what I envisioned for our whole home tour, is us literally hitting buttons, talking about it.
And we showed Siri, and with two buttons, we were now using Xfinity Voice.
Perfect.
So now that we've dove in to the four remotes here, URC has a plethora of other options that maybe just weren't right for Zach and his family's everyday use, but could be right for you. And that's what our experts are here to do.
Exactly.
Point you in those directions. You know, if you want that simple remote, none of the bells and whistles, we have that all the way up to these really nice, fully interactive touch screens. URC has a solution for every room, every application, and every homeowner.
And keep in mind, this is total control. They have their complete control solution, which is even cheaper, less expensive, simpler,
not as flexible,
not for whole home systems. No. Very, very just simple and
single
affordable.
Remote buttons for those rooms. Whereas this really is bringing the future to that old experience of this remote.
And I think you hit the nail on the head there with future. That's what's great about these remotes, guys, is you can purchase this for one room, and then before you know it, 5 years down the line, you have a whole home automation system. You can just expand off of it.
Yeah.
Whereas if you go with their complete control system, it is what it is. It's going to control that one room like it controls Air Force One, and it might do it for the next 10 years. That's wonderful. But if you think down the road you're a guy who has smart shades, you have smart lighting, or maybe you just picked up your first lamp dimmer and you're like, ooh, this is kind of cool. It's the gateway into automation.
Yeah. Even just simple Sonos integrations, Sonos, Lutron, shades, just like Zach was talking about. That's what really brings you into the total control platform. It's not necessarily just having a nice remote for this TV, but having a whole home solution that controls every facet of the house. And it really brings you into a modern smart home. Really makes it easy to navigate, simple user systems. And again, we have a solution for every user and every taste. Just reach out to our experts and we'll point you in the right direction.
Absolutely, guys. We'd love the opportunity to earn your business. If you're here in Colorado, we're servicing the entire state, and we are now expanding into the Nashville, Tennessee market, and after, we are planning on hitting New Jersey with that white glove treatment. Guys, we have aspirations to become a national brand. We are just so humbled and so grateful for everybody who has supported us over the years through buying their dedicated home theater systems, their whole house audio, outdoor entertainment. You guys are just a huge blessing to our business, and we want to continue to evolve as well and deliver better service year after year. So our smart home integration is the next level in that evolution. We can take care of everything from setting up your network, cameras, automation, lighting, shades, audio, video, the whole 9 yards. We got you covered here at Dreamedia. So if you're interested and you're building a new home or doing a renovation, or maybe even you just got your home theater set up and it's too hard to use, give us a ring. We would love the opportunity to earn your business. If you like this video and you found it informative, make sure to give us a big thumbs up and don't forget to smash that subscribe button down below for more. Till next time, this is Zach and Chase with Dreamedia. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.